Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers. I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Hello. Hello, my name is Sue Matinkhah, and this is my book, Splish Splash Water, that I will be talking about today. I had this published with Reader's Magnet. I also had another one published, and I'm having another one published, but one is done and one is still in the works. Splish Splash Water is a scientific book for children. It talks about the water on the earth and that you can't live without it. And it's colorful, and why don't I just read it to you and let you know what it is? The first page is: water is the most common substance on earth. Water is everywhere. It's in the ground and in the air we breathe. And it shows a girl on a boat with there's a fish down there, and they actually breathe air from the water. So the water has to be clean for them to breathe. The next page is: water is inorganic. That means that it's not alive, but it doesn't taste like it. It doesn't taste like anything. It has no color. It is a chemical substance called H2O. Water is one of the things that nothing on earth can live without. And she's sitting on earth. I was kind of brought to the ecology of it all with my grandchildren. My grandchildren are growing up, and there's so much talk about water pollution and air pollution and things aren't growing right. The weather's changing, and it was a real real big spot that I needed to fill. I was done with. Here, I'm going to start over with that. I'm a little confused and a little bit nervous, so bear with me here. I was a social worker, and I retired from that, and I raised my children, and I have my grandchildren, and the schools, the elementary schools that my grandchildren are in, and the middle school and the high school, they're in there too, talk about this subject. And I think it's a real important subject to talk about, because with the water, Splish Splash Water, with the air that's coming up, I have one that's called Where is Air? And then with the other book I have about trees, without any one of them, we wouldn't be alive. They all work together. It just amazes me. All of the nature works together to keep us healthy and alive, and we need to help keep our air, water, and trees alive as well, so we can stay healthy. The amount of water on Earth never changes. Just where it is on Earth changes. So what happens is the sun, nothing on Earth can live without water, but the sun evaporates the water into the air. The air condenses into clouds, and the clouds carry the water to other places. And when they get really full, this clouds squeeze it and together, and they change the clouds. I'm confusing myself again. The clouds, if it's cold, they drop rain. If it's really cold, they drop snow. And that's how water moves from place to place. But water never changes. The amount of water on Earth never changes. So the water on Earth is the only substance that comes in three forms too. It comes in ice, which is the hard water, comes in vapor, which is the clouds, and it comes in liquid, which is the water, the liquid water. The vapor is called gas. I put a little, there's a little experiment in here too that I thought might be fun for kids to do with this book. Maybe in a classroom or something. You take a glass of water and you cover it up with some like saran wrap or something like that. And then you let it sit for a few days, and you can see that the water has gone down and it evaporated up, and there should be some on the top of the cellophane or whatever it is that you're going to use on it. I think that's kind of an interesting way to show kids about evaporation. Okay, everything on Earth has water in it. Animals, vegetables, people. People have at least 65% water in their body. Elephants have 70% water, and tomatoes have 95% water. And that's just everything on Earth needs water. Plants draw the water from the ground, and it passes out through their leaves as vapor. So, and what's really interesting too is that they absorb the carbon monoxide that comes from us breathing, and it releases it, and they absorb it from the air. The leaves absorb it from the air and let out what we can breathe, H2O. And I think that's amazing. Fish have gills. They breathe air through the water with their gills when they're opening and closing their mouths. I think that's really cool too. Oh yes, there's one about dolphins and whales. They're mammals. They breathe air just like we do, but they live in the water. I think that's interesting. And this is Niagara Falls. It has the highest flow rate in the world. It drops 700,000 gallons of water every second. It also provides 20% of the United States of America with drinking water. So see how important water is to everyone. If we didn't have it, we would not be alive. And then can you think of anything you like to do in water or with water? Someone's asking me a question and I can't read it. What is your favorite experience in writing children's books? I like to write children's books because I think that it's important. Well, the books that I write are different than a lot of people write. Mine are they're science books. They are based on facts. They tell the kids the importance of the things that grow, that are on the earth. And if we don't have water and air and trees, we don't exist. And I think it's important for kids to start learning that from the very beginning of their life. And I think that these little books are small enough that they could manipulate them and look at the pictures, and I started thinking about doing the author thing a long time ago. I started the thought about that. But it didn't go well for me. I started and I had bad experiences with a couple publishers. I don't have a bad experience with this one, though. These guys are good. They're really good. Reader's Magnet is doing very well with me, and I'm real pleased. And I started writing a long time ago when I was in high school, and then I stopped doing it because I had, all kinds of things happening in my life. I had children, I had college, I had, a job and all those things. But I still wanted to write more. And when I retired and I had some extra time, I thought it would be a good thing to do. And then Reader's Magnet called me and convinced me that they were going to help me, and they have helped me, and I'm very happy with them. I don't know if I answered your question. I hope I did. Okay, the earth is 70% water, and so are our bodies. The earth, yes, is. And so it's about, yes, the earth is 70% water, and so are our bodies. So it's a vital part of our ecology. Yes, it very definitely is. Henrietta Clark. It's so small on my phone, I can't hardly see the letters. But thanks for asking the question, and or stating a fact. Actually, it's vital. Water is a vital part of our world, and we have to take care of it. And in order to take care of it, we have to be careful what you do with it. If you're going to throw things in the water or just, it's so important. Water is so important. Things live in the water that we eat, things that we grow need water, people need water, animals need water. The air is water, part water. Air is a lot of different things too, but it is a lot of water too. So it's very important. Okay, Jan Sheets. Your book takes me back to my childhood and how I was so enamored by scientific information. Absolutely. I know, I was too. I went to a conference not too long ago. I felt like a child. I was like what I used to do when I was a little kid. I just used to love to see the things about the planets and everything. And NASA was there. That was really exciting to see the things that they had to show. They had some films. They had some stones from outer space. They had, all the cool things. And it's fascinating. And I think children should be more involved in those fascinating things. I mean, there are lots of really nice books, real cute books, fairy tales and things like that. But I think that these kind of things should be taught in the classroom. I think it's really important for them to get a grasp on the importance of our environment. Our environment it's strong, but it's also, it also is delicate. We have to be careful what we put in the air, what we put in the ground, and everything has to do with the environment. If we don't have it, we don't live. That's a big thing. Okay, Joyce Benson. Imagine living without water. You can't. Our society would be doomed. It would be doomed. We can't live without water. We are made of water. You have to drink water every day. You have to eat things with water. Everything has water in it. It's so important to have it. Enzo loves your audiobook. Thank you. I'm so glad. I know who you are. Michelle Person. The science of water can be too complex for young minds to understand. And I'm glad your book helps in simplifying that. Yes, it does simplify it. It says what you need to do, what the water does and how it makes clouds, and the clouds move the water, and the water comes down, and the water moves to another place. One place might have a terrible time with a drought or whatever, but someplace else is flooding because that water moved over, and unfortunately it did. But it's interesting. And I think that this is simple enough for kids to understand, and for teachers to talk about when they're talking about, the environment. Okay, Martin Trent. Hi. I appreciate your passion for the environment in your books. Can you share some special environmental messages you hope will resonate with kids? Yeah, environmental messages. Yeah, as far as environmental messages, like be good to your earth. Be good to the earth. Messages, this book right here that I'm going to talk about tomorrow when I come back, the same time, same place, is about how they can help with the environment, more so than this one. This one is more just informative about what water is and how it works on the earth. This one tells you to plant a tree and you watch it grow, and then when you put it in the ground, it makes, we get apples and cherries, and birds live there, and other animals live there. We have squirrels and all kinds of animals live in trees, and trees, and I have so much to talk about. Trees are essential. They breathe in all the bad air and they let out all the good air. So you have to be careful and be kind to trees. The best thing to do would be plant one and watch it grow, is what I think. So that was why I wrote this book. This was my first one that I wrote. I wrote that quite some time ago, and then I got with Reader's Magnet again, and Reader's Magnet helped me to make it more of the right size and right price, because I didn't like the high price that it was before. I don't like that. I think that books should be available in a reasonable price range where kids can have them, and teachers can have them, and you don't have to be real selective, because sometimes they're just not that expensive and it's worthwhile. With water, kids just need to remember not to throw their garbage in there, and please don't throw your plastic in there, because that will not help anything. That will kill the animals and the fish and the turtles, and it's very important to take care of the other things that aren't like you, necessarily. The ones like fish and birds and animals that depend on the water, and the fish and the birds and all that stuff. It all just works together. You just have to be very careful of the things you do. Don't litter. Don't throw things around. And be kind to your earth. Please share them when they can. Download the audiobook as. Oh, yeah. The audiobook, Reader's Magnet has that. Barnes and Noble has that. There, it is on Amazon, and I'm not sure where else. If you want to get one, though, contact Reader's Magnet if you need to. I think that Barnes and Noble and Amazon just sent me a notice and said they're updating my book on their site, so you can get it on Amazon, I'm sure. Michael Fearson, what is your favorite experience in writing children's books? I really like to do the research. I really like to do the research and put the words in children's talk, the way they talk, the way they think. I think that adults, think a whole lot different than children do, and that's for sure. And I think writing children's books, they need to be colorful. They need to get your attention. They need to keep your attention, because, if you had experience with kids and showing them books and reading it to them, they have to be able to participate too. They have to be able to see the pictures, enjoy the pictures, the talking with you about them. And if they see that an elephant has 70% water in it, what do they think about that? I just think you need to talk with them about the stuff. And I think it needs to be in their words. And I think that the research is probably my very favorite, back to the very beginning, probably my very favorite thing to do when doing children's books. I'm fairly new at doing children's books right now, but I have a few more in mind too. So these are scientific ones, though. These have the actual facts in them, and I have another one coming out. I think I said it's Where's Air, and it's about air and how wind is made. Who knows that? I didn't know that before I did my research. How wind is made. The earth is hotter than the air, and the air comes down and it's colder, and they come together and they make wind. Who knew? I mean, some people know, some people aren't there, but I didn't know that. So I thought that was real interesting, researching. William, 7 grandchildren must keep you busy. How do they react to your books? They love it. And do they play a role in Yes, in shaping the stories. I have one of my grandchildren is on the back of one of my books. This one, she's right there with me on the back of this book. She loves it. I have another one who's a writer. She's in high school right now. She's creating some of her own books. And when I started doing books, they all decided they were going to color with me, we're going to draw pictures and we're going to help you. So they love it. They love doing it. I love them doing it. I couldn't be happier. George, your books are insightful. Even the adults can actually learn from them. Yes, they can. Like what I was just saying about wind. What I was just saying about, the wind that who knew, and I think that adults can learn from it. I think that that's wonderful that everyone can learn from these things. And the next book I have coming out about Where's air? That's a little more technical. I don't know. I'm having a little trouble. I had a little trouble writing that one because there are things in there that I didn't know. I didn't, there are things in all of these books that how you don't think about it. You just take it for granted that the earth is always going to be the way it is, and that you're going to always have fresh air and clean water, and everything's going to be just great. But we have to take care of it. Okay, Marjorie Leach, do you still encounter challenges when writing? Oh, honey, you have no idea. Yes, I have a lot of challenges writing. The fact, sometimes it's really hard to find where your inspiration is going to come from. It's a little tricky, you got to find the right place and right time and start writing and then figure it out. And it's it, it's fun. I love art. I've always been into the art scene. I've always painted and done, lots of artsy things, but um it's I illustrate my own books. So with the illustrations and the wording and some of the things that I had to find to complete the air book, especially, are really, it was kind of tough. But on the other hand, there are lots of children's books that aren't tough to do. They just come together. I haven't had that situation yet, but some friends of mine have, where they just come together, which is nice. Okay, was there any more questions? Okay, I don't see any more. And as I said earlier, I will be, I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to come back tomorrow at 6 o'clock till 6:30 or thereabouts. And I hope you join me again. I'm going to talk about who knows what I'm going to talk about. I didn't talk about what I planned to talk about tonight. I had it all written down on paper. Yes, and they're all nonfiction science books for children and for everyone. So I don't see any more questions. Anybody? No more? Okay, then well, it's taken me a long way to get here. I don't know if any of you are authors or thinking about being authors, but just write the things that you love and they'll come together. So I think anyway, I'm thinking about doing a book on the Rainbow Bridge sometime before too long. I don't know if you know what that is, but it has to do with pets and children and meeting up with them again in heaven. I'm not going into that anymore, though I shouldn't even started that. But my books are available. Once again, they're available at Reader's Magnet, Barnes and Noble, Amazon. Amazon's always good. They're I think less expensive. I don't think a children's book should be too expensive. I'm sorry, but I don't. Unless there's some kind of fancy fairy tale or something in a hardback or something like that. I think that these books that I have are priced correctly. And I'm kind of, nobody has any more questions? I'd like to I have some questions. All right. Anyway, as far as my grandchildren go, they love it. They love the whole idea of grandma being an author, because they all love books. All of my grandchildren love books. They love books because they're exposed to them all the time. And I think that children should be exposed to books that have that have substance, that they have truth and facts and hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I just keep saying, I'm not sure what I'm gonna, if I forgot anything to tell you. Well, I think I told you about my past, that I was a social worker, and that I worked in the social work field for a long time, and then I retired, and I had a void to fill, and I think that writing has filled it. I think that it's very hard to be an author. I think it's very hard to get your books read sometimes. I hope that people will take a chance, buy a book, and see what your child thinks of it, or what your classmates think of it, and or if you're a teacher, take it to school with you. And I know that I was at a conference a while back, and there were a whole bunch of librarians there. So your school might even have the book in their library. There are a whole lot of librarians that were at. They were from all over the area too, all over, different states and on the east. So they might be in your library, and I don't know what else to say. I thank you all for coming. I appreciate that you have taken your time to drop in and check out what I have to say. I hope I said the right things for you to be interested in the book, because it's simple and small and right for kids and grown-ups. And at the end, it says that is there anything you like to do with water? Everybody likes to do things with water, in water, with water, swimming, skiing, skating, in the winter, sledding, ice skating, tobogganing, skiing. You can't live without water. Playing with it and living with it and drinking it and cleaning yourself with it and cleaning everything else with it. It's just water is very, very necessary. And maybe I'll talk to you a little bit about this one, plant a tree and watch it grow, since I seem to have run out of things to talk about, unless you want to ask me some questions. But one of the best ways to bring it around to kids is to bring it to them and talk with them about it, and write things with it, write things about it, color pictures, have a book and say, draw me a picture of something you like to do in water or with water. Or as on the front page, on the front cover, it's dogs getting a bath outside. And yeah, that's fun. I don't know how much fun that is for the dogs, but anyway, we need to drink it. We need to You need to try experiments too. There's an experiment in here. It's very simple. You just put a cup of water out, cover it up with some cellophane. The best thing to do would be set it near some heat so it works quicker. Maybe put it in the windowsill with some sunshine on it, and see how it evaporates. Thank you, Zenki Mooney. I admire your writing style. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.